Good evening and welcome to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. If you are joining us for the first time, please I urge you to please subscribe to Citizen AY, hit the notification button, give us the thumbs up. Help us reach more people. The information we're about to share with you now is very, very important for Africans. A lot of people seem to think that France is in it in Africa to try and really promote democracy. They are not. They are in it for purely economic interest. Their interest and the rest of Europe at the expense of African people. As we all know, in the entire Europe, their immigration policy has been to exclude people mostly from Africa and from other places. Now, that's fine. You are entitled to do that in Europe, and that's not a problem. Now, however, what France is seeking to do in Africa is something that we should all reject as Africans collectively. What they have been doing for over 40 years. In fact, since 1947, Charles de Gaulle, France has kept their claws in Africa, taking our resources for free. It is time that we say no more. It is time that we say we don't want any more of this. Like Burkina Faso has been saying, like Mali has been saying, like Niger is saying, like Guinea is saying. And here is what you will need to listen to. There's a guy called Gilles Platret, a mayor of Chalon Sud Saone, and he's saying it. He's saying that they're being put out of Africa. And this is the real reason. He said they have to. It's for their own economic interest that they're in Africa, and they will stay in Africa for as long as possible. And this is what we are. So any discussion, it is apparent now. Like I said, the French are holding one section, a particular group of countries under colonial grip, and the Anglophone is being held under colonial grip. Meanwhile, we all think that they're separate entities. They're not. They're one and the same. They're the same Europe. You see, when they say, "Oh, UK is out of Europe and everything else," and all of that, they are working together. They are part of NATO. So all of that, that's all a game. What we need to do in Africa is to make sure that all African countries, we must actually work together as a continent to redraw, to chase out all of these policies that has been imposed on us by colonials. When under the guise of democracy, they are looting our resources to pursue solely French and colonial economic interests. That is it. Nothing else. Economic interests. Now, 1 second, let me just show you this guy here. 1 second.
La situation au Niger est en fait quelque part l'aboutissement de notre retrait progressif du Sahel. La France en est chassée État après État au profit
du Mali, le Burkina Faso.
C'est ça. Il est évident que les ressources minières du continent africain intéressent fortement Moscou et que Moscou fait tout pour nous déstabiliser. Nous ne pouvons pas quitter le Niger et je suis donc pour le coup dans les 19% des sondés qui pensent que la France doit rester présente militairement non seulement au Niger mais ailleurs en Afrique. Notre retrait nous ferait coûter. Ce qui m'inquiète, c'est que la situation au Niger est en fait quelque part l'aboutissement de notre retrait progressif du Sahel. La France en est chassée État après État au profit du
Mali, le Burkina Faso.
C'est ça. Il est évident que les ressources minières du continent africain intéressent fortement Moscou et que Moscou fait tout pour nous déstabiliser. Nous ne pouvons pas quitter le Niger et je suis donc pour le coup dans les 19% des sondés qui pensent que la France doit rester présente militairement non seulement au Niger mais ailleurs en Afrique. Notre retrait nous coûterait très cher à terme. Nous avons besoin de rester très présents sur le continent africain, mais c'est la seule qu'il nous reste après avoir été chassés d'autres pays. Notre intérêt premier, c'est de rester sur place le plus longtemps possible. Moi, je veux pas être naïf, parce qu'en diplomatie, il faut pas être naïf. La France a besoin d'être présente en Afrique, y compris pour ses intérêts économiques.
Economic interest. It is purely for economic interest. You heard him say it. They are there purely for their economic interest. And that is what we have to really understand. I'm going to play it.
Ce qui m'inquiète, c'est que la situation au Niger...
Sorry.
Ce qui m'inquiète, c'est que la situation.
I'm just gonna they're worried about the situation because they are only in there for economic interest. They're not there for democratic means. That is just a cover to allow them to continue to soak and loot our resources. Let us not kid ourselves. Africans, it is time to really understand that the way that Europe has done, what has Europe has done, has been to encircle Africa collectively. Even Russia was in the room in Berlin conference when they carved up Africa among themselves. So what we need to do in Africa is to unite. All 54 countries have to unite to stop ourselves from being continuously exploited. I am firmly in this opinion that it's time that all of us must really begin to understand that what they're after is economic interest. That is it. Let me play it again. Watch.
Au Niger est en fait quelque part l'aboutissement de notre retrait progressif du Sahel. La France en est chassée État après État au profit de
le Mali, le Burkina Faso.
C'est ça. Il est évident que les ressources minières du continent africain intéressent fortement Moscou.
So is it not of the same interest? Is that not the same interest that France is pursuing? Mineral resources? France has been taking mineral resources from all 14 African countries for over 40 years, uninterrupted. And they're now saying no. But now France is saying no, we cannot leave. We're not going to leave. Listen on.
Et que Moscou fait tout pour nous déstabiliser. Nous ne pouvons.
So now they're saying Russia is doing everything to destabilize them. So what about, this is what Africans, again, the interest of Russia or interest of France is none of our business. Our only business should be interest of Africans in the African continent. We should help African countries have light all over Africa first. And then if there's anything left over, we can now look at seeing to help anybody else, because they are not putting our interest first. And this is what we need to be doing. This is what is going on. Listen on to this man, Gilles Platret, some I don't know, mayor of Saône or whatever. Listen on.
Nous ne pouvons pas quitter le Niger et je suis donc pour le coup dans.
We cannot leave Niger. You see? And Niger have told them to leave. And like I've said before, many times the immigration policy, they don't want Africans in Europe or in France. That's fine, we get it. But now they're telling you, we Africans, on the African continent, we're telling you leave. No, we will stay. Like I said, I'm going to play you a video of Macron saying they're not going to leave. I will play that video after. But I want you to, this is something to understand. When it gets to the point where it talks about economic interest, I will leave on the screen so you can see it yourself. Let's go forward.
Les 19% des sondés.
So only 90% of the polls think that France
qui pensent que la France doit rester présente.
Must remain. Only 19% of their polls. So majority of the people don't even want them in Africa, but 90% want them to stay because they want to. Those 90% want to have unfettered access to resources that they're not willing to pay for. This is the reality of what we're facing, Africans. We can't do this alone. ECOWAS will say nothing about this. In fact, sadly, ECOWAS are going to pretend as though they did not heard this. That's why I'm showing this and highlighting the points it's saying. Let's listen on.
Militairement, non seulement au Niger, mais ailleurs en Afrique.
So they want military. So France has to have military presence in Nigeria and in Niger, not just in Niger, but elsewhere in Africa. They have to have military. So they are going to impose themselves on us. This is what is coming if we do not work together. Africans, this is what is coming if we do not begin to work together to put a stop to this injustice. We need to work together. Now let's go for and kick out these colonials who are only after our resources at our expense. They're not willing to pay for it. They want it for free. Sorry about that.
Ce qui m'inquiète, c'est que la situation au Niger est en fait quelque part l'aboutissement de notre retrait progressif du Sahel. La France en est chassée État après État au profit
du Mali, le Burkina Faso.
C'est ça. Il est évident que les ressources.
And France is only in Africa for mineral resources, not about democracy. Now that they see Russia, and this is what Africa, we have to be careful. Russia, they have their own interests. France, you can see, in fact, the whole of Europe have their own interests. It is time that Africans will put our own interests first. They are putting their interests above us in our own land. That is unacceptable. We need to put Africans in Africa first and foremost. That must be our priority. Let's listen on.
Du continent africain intéresse fortement Moscou et que Moscou fait tout pour nous déstabiliser. Nous ne pouvons pas quitter le Niger et je suis donc pour le coup dans les 19% des sondés qui pensent que la France doit rester présente.
Again, only 90% of France supports the continued stay of France, who are not wanted in Africa. Only 19% of French people. Only 19%. Let's listen up.
Militairement, non seulement au Niger, mais ailleurs en Afrique, notre retrait...
So they want to stay in Africa militarily, not just in Niger, but elsewhere in Africa because of resources. Africans, if we do not work together, we will continue to be oppressed. If we do not work together, we will continue to be oppressed. It is time we collectively work together to free Africa from the collective bondage that we are all in. We are in collective bondage.
Nous coûterait très cher à terme. Nous avons besoin de rester très présents sur le continent africain.
So they need to remain very present on the African continent. But Africans are saying we don't want you. And you are saying you must stay. Listen on.
Mais c'est la seule qu'il nous reste après avoir été chassés d'autres pays. Notre intérêt premier, c'est de rester
So their interest is to stay as long as possible.
sur place le plus longtemps possible. Moi, je ne veux pas être naïf parce qu'en diplomatie, il ne faut pas être naïf. La France a besoin.
France needs to be. You see, France needs to be present in Africa. It is obvious now that Africa has to understand that colonials, they are doing good cop, bad cop with us. Oh, this colonial is good. Oh, let him stay. That one is bad. Oh, no, stay bad. Just try to chase him out. Whilst we are doing that, they are taking our resources. We need to wake up. We need to wake up. Let's listen on.
D'être présente en Afrique, y compris pour ses intérêts économiques.
You see, including for its economic interest. So France is in Africa purely for its economic interest, not for democracy, for economic interest. You see that? It's on the screen. Please, let us wake up. We cannot. It's obvious to us now. No one African country can free itself from the colonial grip. But when we stand together in Africa, and I say this, all 54 countries have to now start working together to free ourselves, because we are all in bondage. The Europeans have this saying among themselves, all for one and one for all. That's what they're doing. You think France is doing this on their own? France is not going to say they have to stay in Africa without the tacit agreement of all of the other European countries, knowing that whatever France gets, it will benefit all of them. And I'm saying to you as Africans, that if we can make sure that none of us are ever held under colonial grip anymore in Africa, that all of us are free together, Africa will continue to remain colonized, because we're still colonized. France is saying they don't want to leave. You're hearing it. Listen to him a bit more. So you see that guy there. So it's courtesy of France African Stream. So I'm just going to put it up there anyway. But
Ce qui m'inquiète, c'est que
so the man here, I want to put his picture up.
La situation au Niger.
So I want to put this Gilles Platret. Is his name, Mayor of Chalon-sur-Saône. So that is his name. So it is obvious now, Africans, the French are only in Africa for their economic interest at the expense of the people of Africa. It is time we woke up. My people, Africans, we must unite. It is only in our unity that we will be able to categorically defeat the colonials. Africa, unite. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Season AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. When you get the podcast, please to share. You're watching Season AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and subscribe to Citizen AY. How do you do that? Let me show you how you can do that. Just quickly do this quickly. So we need you to do this for us. Before we go, we'd like you to go ahead and subscribe to Citizen AY. How do you do that? Let us show you how to do that quickly. 1 second. Sorry. Go ahead and subscribe to Citizen AY. Hit the notification button and give us thumbs up. So subscribe, hit the notification button, and of course give us a thumbs up. Help us reach more people. We really appreciate your support. So in closing, before we go, what we'd like you to do is to what? 1 minute please. we would like you to subscribe to Citizen AY, hit notification button, give us thumbs up. So one more time, what we'd like you to do is go ahead and subscribe to Citizen AY. How do you do that? Subscribe by hitting the red button coming up now. Subscribe to Citizen AY, hit the notification button, and give us the thumbs up. Help us reach more people. We truly are grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing information to you that is of immense importance. As Africans, we need to be working together across the continent. The people who are oppressing us, it is obvious, they are only working for their interests. And unless and until we, the people, begin to work together, nothing is going to change. And we must change this dynamic completely. It is of immense importance that we begin to change what is being done here. It is of immense importance that we begin to change this injustice. We need to confront it collectively together. You see it there. And I'll show you again. France and indeed Europe is in Africa for purely economic interest, not for democracy. And we need to wake up. We must ensure that collectively we free ourselves. It is in standing together as Africans will we defeat the colonials. That is the only way we will free Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. What I'd like you to do is, don't forget, subscribe to Citizen AY, hit the notification button, give us a thumbs up, and finally, keep it locked on. Keep it locked on. Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. 1 second, please. So we ask you to please, Africans, the time is now for us all to collectively wake up. We are being collectively oppressed. It is in our unity will we be able to truly free ourselves. The people who are oppressing us, they are united in collectively oppressing us. It is in our collective unity will we be able to truly free Africa from the bondage we are collectively currently in. We don't realize it. We think we are facing different enemies. They are all one and the same, working together to keep us divided and continue. They want to continue to exploit our resources. You heard the man say it. There's only purely for economic interest. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. What we'd like you to do is keep it locked on. Thank you and bye for now.